The joy of giving.
Words of wisdom. A smile that brightens up the face. A sparkle that lights the eyes. These are the beautiful gifts of giving and sharing. It was the time of World War II. The American boat PT-109, 70 feet length, patrolled the rough sea of Solomon Island in an attempt to sink Japanese ships. This PT-109, piloted by the young Captain Jack, seemed to be indestructible. The following men were aboard on PT-109's last mission. Kennedy is the commanding officer. The time was very hardly 2 a.m. and there was a pitch darkness everywhere. Suddenly Jack saw above his head Japanese float planes streaking across the sky in search of American torpedo boats, which they wanted to blow to pieces. Jack, who was at the wheel, brought his boat to a dead halt, and the stillness that followed might have allowed you to hear a pin drop. Yet they were seen by a nearby Japanese destroyer ship. It was the darkness that kept the boat almost invisible. A monstrous yell broke the silence, and the Japanese destroyer ship dashed towards the boat. Before the idling engines of the PT-109 could be throttled full, there was a loud crash. The boat burst into flames. The destroyer had blown the boat into pieces. When Jack regained his consciousness, he could see four of the crew clinging to the wreckage. "Captain Jack," shouted Harris, "can you give a hand to McMahon, who is badly hurt?" Courageous Jack dived and brought him to the wreckage. Then Jack dived again, and this time he held Harish, who had his leg badly hurt and hence could not swim. Everybody was in great despair. There was no hope, especially for the marine who had his stomach full of gasoline and seawater. The first gleam of morning was shimmering in the eastern sky. The northern skies reflected the fury of the war. "What shall we do if the Japs show their dirty faces again?" asked Jack, the skipper. "Fight!" shouted all. There wasn't a thing to fight except a submachine gun and a pistol. "Okay, everyone hang to anything and head for that small island," said Jack, "and I will take care of McMahon." Everybody started off. Jack tied Mac with a strap which he gripped between his teeth. Soon Jack was ahead of the others. Now and then the skipper would stop to take his breath. "How are you, Mac?" was his oft repeated question. They swam for 5 long hours. They reached the shore after staying in the dangerous water for 15 hours. Jack knew that he might have a chance to meet some boats of his squadron beyond the next island, but the Japanese might come on the way. Dusk fell. Jack knew that the sea was rough and infested with sharks and sheefish, who could swallow a man alive in no time. Yet Jack, with a life jacket, flung himself into those waters and continued to swim. He was chilled to the bones and absolutely numb with cold. People on the shore naturally thought that nobody would have survived in such circumstances. Thus, at that very moment, at the naval base, a memorial service for the men of PT 109 was being held. Jack's mother, Rose Kennedy, received the heart-rending telegram that informed her that Jack was probably dead. But against all odds, Jack survived the war. The Jack of raw courage and heroic charity was none other than the late President of United States of America, Jack Kennedy. Love is not taking, but in giving. There is no happiness in loving only those who give us something. There is no happiness in doing a favor only when it is easy. Happiness can be derived only by going out of the way to help others. Our parents make so many sacrifices for us. It is their love towards us that make all inconvenience welcome. The next time you are asked to do a favor or to help, don't be calculative and think of how you will benefit. There is great joy in giving. Never complain about the things your parent could not give you. They gave you all they had. Thank you, children.